Hello, my name is Christopher Clemmons, founder and web developer at Digyt, which is a web firm in Detroit, Michigan that helps dentists as well as other medical professionals get more patients running through the door using modern design and web technology. So today I'm going to be focusing specifically on dentists and the problems that they face. So if you are a dentist who are looking to maximize or increase profit margins or to reduce overhead costs or just to get more patients to the door because maybe one day you want to open up another practice or you just want to be able to buy some more free time for yourself, maybe hire another staff member to do some of the work that you are having to do yourself, or to just reduce the workload for your staff as well to improve office productivity. So a lot of these issues go from insurance costs, lab costs, of course, employee costs, educational debt, and automation costs too. So that could be anything such as time anything that's costing you time, or resources that's costing you money. So this is another thing that dentists are also facing today. So how does a website help dentists with these types of issues? Well, a website for dentists should be used not like a brochure that's online where people get information from. Because that's how a lot of people are using websites, especially in the medical industry. They're not really utilizing it to do what it should be doing, which is to make you money, right? It's supposed to educate patients and let people know that you are the dentist for them and that you can provide the services that they want at a timely fashion and also at a cost or maybe at a quality that they're looking for. So this is where you start to really emphasize those points. So the first thing that I really want to focus on, and I have a great example of a dental practice here. It's called Pro Dental in New York City, and I really, really, really love their web design. This is probably one of a kind because I haven't seen a lot of people implement this type of web design. So this is customized and is unique for this brand. So the first thing before I go into all the other elements, I want to talk about online appointment booking. There's so many dentists right now that's still using phone calls or contact forms to book an appointment. Now, what I mean by a contact form, I know some contact forms do come with like calendars, but in this case, I'm talking about contact forms where people just enter their name, email, and then a request to get back with them. That is old technology now. Well, not old technology, but this is an old method of getting appointments, and this could potentially be hurting your conversion rate when it comes to your patients. So conversion is basically anybody that agrees to become a patient. So if I were to see an ad from you, that's an impression. And if I say, I want to do business with you, that's a conversion. And if I actually do business, of course, that's a conversion. So the number one fact to know, especially in 2021, at the time of me recording this video, is that over 80% of people prefer to book online rather than call in or send an email, not knowing whether or not that time slot that they want will be available. So just to give you an example of the convenience or the impact that this can have for your dental practice. So let's just say you're on the phone and you have somebody else calling in and they want to book an appointment, but you have something to do right now with this patient that's asking you a question maybe about a past appointment or whatnot. So let's just say it takes them about 15 minutes for you to get to them, and then by that time they're not available, they have to leave, or the time slot that they are looking for is not available. So imagine how frustrating you would be if you were to sit in a line for 15 minutes just to find out that, let's just say, the food item that you're looking for is not available. It would be nice to be able to see a live inventory of what is available before you before you go stand in line or go to the store. And that's why a lot of other industries, such as shopping industries, they allow their customers to view products in stock for a reason. Not really that it makes a difference for them, but it helps the user make decisions so they can get those people into the store or send them to a store that has that service or product. So this would be a great way for you to build trust with your patient by giving them that convenience of allowing them to choose times that work for them directly from their site. So if you go to the calendar here, for an example, actually I had it open over here. So this is the available times, unavailable time slots, because of course he's available in November because he's very popular, obviously. So as you can see, it allows patients to choose dates and times that works for them. Now there's different types of calendars, and you can also style this differently according to how you may want it to look with your website, but this would be a great starting point if you haven't done it already. So having an appointment booking form, knowing that 80% or more people prefer to book online, is a no-brainer in 2021. So that would definitely get more people to the door for you. Now you can still have a phone number because there's always some things that you would need to call about. So always have that option to have people call you or to walk in. And as you can see on the top right corner of the screen, they have a calendar, a link to call, and a place, a link that will show them show their patients or potential patients where they're located if they happen to want to walk in one day. Now, the next thing I want to point out too is that imagery is very, 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 very important when it comes to dental and for your dental business. So you have to stand out. Like if you were using the same pictures or same stock images as other dentists, and I'll give you an example of that. I don't want to use like these are some templates that I saw online. I don't think these are real businesses, but even if they are, I mean these are just templates that are used from other resources. So the problem with templates is that they're not really unique, right? If you think of a really awesome brand, you don't think of other brands that are similar to it. Like they don't blur together. Like if you think of Apple, think of Microsoft, think of brands like Mercedes-Benz or Rolls-Royce or anything like that. They're very distinct and everybody knows who they are right away without really having to look at them too much. But if you have a dental website that looks like everybody else, there might be a chance that somebody might land on another competitor's website thinking that it's you, but it's really not, and then you lose out on that customer. And this is very, very important, especially if you're spending money on paid advertisement or if you're doing SEO campaigns, which does cost a lot of money. It's a great investment, but if it's used, if you're not sending traffic to a website or a web page or a landing page that's optimized to communicate with that user that you are the dentist for them, and if it doesn't emphasize your brand, you have a high probability of losing that potential patient to a competitor. So it's no point of spending money on ads and have it go to somebody else's pocket. So make sure that the pictures that you do use are pictures of your office, maybe pictures of your recent work. There's anything to invoke a positive emotion and also to build trust. So that's the main thing that your website should be doing within the first 5 seconds of the user or the visitor visiting your site. Because the average attention span for the average attention span for a user or internet visitor is 5 seconds. So within that 5 seconds, you have to let people know right away what you do and how you can help them. Now, here's another great example. Is a dental. I think this one is located in Miami Beach, Florida. It's called 3D Dental Smile or 3D Dental. As you can see here, it's very, very clear that they do 3D dental work. And so if you are a patient or if you are whoever is looking for this type of services, you already know that 3D Dental Smile is the way to go. So that's what you need to do too. So if you are a dentist that specializes in periodontics or orthodontics or Invisalign, which is another profitable service that a lot of dentists are doing nowadays, make sure you let people know about these things right away when they visit your site. Now, the next thing I really want to get into is the navigation portion. Now, this one is not a bad example. I personally prefer to have the links being shown just so people can get that information right away, because some people may not be able to see that these white bars here. But this is just an example of a navigation. And here is another. Actually, I think I did have another great example of, maybe it was from the bad website example, but yeah, this will be a typical example of it's kind of blurry, but you get the point. It's just a few links that tell the user where it will take them once they click on it. So if you have like a fact page, answering questions that a lot of patients may have, maybe about cost, what insurance do you accept, what type of services do you do, is it painful? You can answer a lot of these questions, and when you're answering these questions to these users without them having to call you, that saves you time, and it also builds trust as well. It's like a directory. If you think of any place or if you buy a product from anybody, you more likely will be able to trust somebody that has a lot of information about your product, what the size or what it does, and who you can contact if something goes wrong. So that's a really good selling point too, is to have like links to those very important pages. Now with the navigation, it's really important not to add too much because you don't want to confuse the user either. If they think it's too much information, then they might think that you may not be really good at one thing, but you're good or you're somewhat good at everything. So you don't want to get that impression off too much. So if you are a general dentist, this can also this could possibly hurt you too if you're putting too much information at once. So just focus on a few of the things that you do the best and then mention all the other stuff later on, like maybe in a section below the header. So that's another thing, since we're talking about the header and the navigation portion. Now, the third thing I really want to get into, and I don't want to make this video too long. I might make a series about this depending on what type of traction that I get. But the next thing that you should be concerned about is the call to action. Now, the call to action is basically what you want your users to do when they land onto your site. So whether it's book an appointment, make a call, or buy something, and in this case, you want them to book an appointment with you. So this goes along with the calendar that I mentioned primarily. So if you have a header, like for example, I'm going to use this one as an example again. You notice that there is limited text, is non-distracting. Pictures speak 1,000 words. So they're using the images to really emphasize what they do, and they also have this blue button that is a calming color because, of course, in the medical industry, it's very stressful. It's very scary to some people. So using blues and greens really calm people down. And that's just the colors that people associate with dentistry. So it's very smart to use those colors. Not saying you absolutely have to use blue or green, but using blue and green or even some browns or some other pastel colors will definitely help soothe the emotions of the user when they come onto your site, and that builds trust as well. And if you want to study psychology, I might even go into making a video about color psychology on how that impacts the human mind and how it affects their decision-making process. So as you can see here on the bottom left corner of the screen, we have our philosophy, which is not really a call to action. It might be their call to action, but most of the time you would prefer, you would want to have a button that takes them to a form or to a contact, a calendar or a contact form. And it needs to be bright and visible. So the thing I would change about this site would probably be making the contact or the calendar for the or the contact button, it doesn't matter, making this a little bit more vibrant. So maybe adding like a button or a background color to this so the whites can pop out a little bit better. Now for this site, this one also has a call to action. I would personally use a darker color just because the blue in the background, and this is a blue as well, but it's visible though. That's the main thing. And the reason why I'm emphasizing this so much is because there are people who are disabled who might have limited visibility when it comes to like what they can see, especially if they're on a small mobile screen. If there's like somebody's grandmother or grandfather and they're looking at your site from a iPhone 5 or 6, and there's people who still use iPhone 5s, and I've seen people use iPhone 4s still. So not recommended, of course, but there's people who are still want to use that, and we want to make sure that these people are able to view your site comfortably from the device that they're comfortable with. So having limited text or larger text and accessibility features, especially like the one on this side at the bottom right, and I might get into a video with that later on too. So a lot of things to go into with that. By having this design and having the type of like the text and everything like that size proportionally will definitely help with the content what's the word I'm looking for? It'll help with consuming the content, which is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, those are just a few tips there that I really just wanted to let dentists know about. It's not expensive to do. You can actually do this yourself. And if you have a web designer that you work with, I would strongly recommend getting in contact with them to see if you can make these small changes onto your site. But if you do need more help, and let's just say you don't have a website, or if you really want to take your website to the next level to really get the results that you're looking for, let's just say you do want to increase your profit margin into the double digits, or if you do want to open up a new practice, or if you just want to make as much money as possible and get the most out of your industry, feel free to get in contact with me. You can email me at hello@digyt, Digyt.co. Introduce yourself, and I would love to answer any questions that you have. And once again, my name is Chris, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next video. Take care.